Imagine this. You're down 3-1 in the 2016 NBA Finals, entering Oracle Arena.
One game to save your legacy. That's where LeBron James found himself. Down 3-2 to the Boston Celtics in Game 6 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. With all eyes on him, LeBron was facing overwhelming pressure to deliver, pressure that he ironically put upon himself. After painful losses to the Celtics during his time in Cleveland, LeBron skipped town to join Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh down in South Beach, only to suffer one of the most embarrassing meltdowns in NBA Finals history. 8 years in and still without a championship, LeBron's career reached a boiling point, leading to a career-defining Game 6 in Boston. Win and live another day, or lose and be crucified by the basketball world. Having your legacy tarnished and forever being known as the guy who couldn't show up when it mattered most. LeBron had one game to save his legacy. Entering TD Garden on June 7, 2012, LeBron was walking into a building he'd become all too familiar with. It was 2008, Game 7 between the Cavaliers and Celtics, with a ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals on the line. The one-man army, LeBron James, up against Boston's newly formed Big Three. Yet the kid nearly did the impossible. He was dynamite for 45 points, but the Celtics pulled out the win, and just 13 days later, they were crowned NBA champions. After a finals appearance the previous season, it was a second-round exit for LeBron, followed by an Eastern Conference Finals loss in 2009. Little did we know that James's time in Cleveland was ticking away. 2010 looked promising, though. 61 wins, the hometown kid as a back-to-back MVP, and revenge was served in round 2. Except that didn't happen. As the 4th seed, the Celtics pulled off a massive upset over the number 1 seeded Cavs as LeBron suffered another dreadful loss on the parquet floor in Boston. Now 7 years deep without a championship, criticism surrounding the chosen one began to surface. The media believed he quit on his team, gave up, and was checked out for the back half of that series due to his looming free agency. Whether that's true or not, one thing was for sure. That loss in Boston had a far greater impact than anyone could have imagined. The answer to the question everybody wants to know, LeBron, what's your decision? In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat. That was the conclusion that set the NBA world ablaze. The back-to-back MVP and arguably the best player in the world, leaving his hometown team to form a Big Three down in Miami. It was baffling. Just 2 days later, he was on stage with Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh prematurely celebrating championships together, as LeBron claimed they would win not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7 titles as a trio. The entire spectacle rubbed everyone outside of Miami the wrong way. Especially in Cleveland, it was seen as weak, disrespectful, and downright unforgivable by the majority of fans. The hate towards LeBron had reached an all-time high, but the man got what he wanted: success. The Heat won 58 games in their first season together, cruised past the 76ers in round 1, and round 2 offered him revenge. It was LeBron versus the Celtics, just as it was a year ago. But this time he had backup. Miami beat up on Boston to go up 3-1 in the series. In the final moments of Game 5, LeBron got his get-back. One devastating turnover for Boston after another. It was a LeBron explosion capped off by a two-handed dagger through the heart of Boston as he finally beat the Celtics. Miami would go on to manhandle the Bulls in 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they seemed destined to win a championship. The only team left was Dallas. An unlikely playoff run capped off by Dallas upsetting LeBron James, Dwyane Wade, and the favored Miami Heat. A stunning ending to one of the more compelling seasons in NBA history. LeBron collapsed in the 2011 Finals. The man was a shell of himself. He lacked aggression and focus. He couldn't deliver in the clutch and flat out, choked in the most pivotal game of the series, or the entirety of the series for that matter. With a chance to prove his doubters wrong, LeBron's performance only fueled the narrative that he wasn't a winning player. The weight of that season, from the decision to the hate to the expectations of winning the title, seemingly caught up to him, and as a result, his legacy took a massive blow. All eyes were on him now. He had to deliver. Entering a lockout-shortened season, LeBron responded to all the noise by winning his third MVP in 4 years. The dude was a killer, but of course the pressure was on him to win a title, not another MVP. So come playoff time, he cranked it up a notch. Miami annihilated the Knicks in round 1, but round 2 got scary. After a Game 1 win against the Pacers, Miami lost 2 straight to go down 2-1. To make matters worse, Chris Bosh was listed as out for the rest of the series. There were whispers of another Miami collapse. So in a critical Game 4 on the road, LeBron answered the call. He flexed his killer instinct with 40 points, leading Miami to avoid a 3-1 deficit. It was an absolute masterclass. From that point on, Miami took care of business, eliminating the Pacers in 6 to return to the Eastern Conference Finals, this time against an old foe. For the 4th time in his career, LeBron was facing the Boston Celtics in the postseason. The pressure of the world was on James to deliver and get his team back to the NBA Finals. He quickly showed that he was built for the challenge, scoring 32 points and grabbing 13 rebounds in a 14-point win. In Game 2, they ran it back, with 34 points and 10 rebounds from the King, pulling out a 4-point overtime win to take a commanding 2-0 series lead. Everything was going to plan. Boston's Big Three was far older than they'd been when they beat LeBron in the past, and it now seemed like they were running out of gas. Well, at least we thought they were. Back on home court, Boston answered with wins in Games 3 and 4 to knot the series at 2, which set up a crucial Game 5 back in South Beach. LeBron came to play with his 4th 30-point game of the series, yet Miami was down 1 with about a minute to go. They desperately needed a stop. Paul Pierce hit a 3, and Boston led by 4. With rational confidence racing through his veins, Paul Pierce got LeBron on the switch and proceeded to pull up in his mouth to splash the dagger 3, silencing the crowd and taking a 3-2 series lead back to Boston. Just 1 week ago, Miami had absolute control of this series. A return to the finals seemed imminent, but here they were, just 1 loss away from another cataclysmic failure. After what happened last year, a loss in these Eastern Conference Finals would be a devastating blow to LeBron's legacy. He was supposed to be the king, the chosen one, yet he was staring down the barrel of a career-defining Game 6 with all the pressure, all the expectations, and all eyes on him in a game that would forever change his legacy. Headed into Game 6 back in Boston, LeBron faced the demons of his past. Another elimination game on that ever-familiar parquet floor, with absolutely everything on the line. By the emotionless look on his face, you knew he was about to unleash the beast. James blew past Pierce and threw it down, giving the Heat a quick 4-point lead. That was one way to set the tone. A vicious tomahawk slam, and LeBron had his first points of the game. Just moments later, he sized up Paul Pierce, drained the jumper right in his face, and then spun off Ray Allen to cash in a ridiculous bump fade. After missing his first shot, he hit 3 straight field goals, but the engine was just getting warmed up. At the 3:18 mark, he turned on the burners, flying past everyone in transition as he swirled in a backhanded scoop through contact for the and 1. The very next possession, he drilled a right-wing 3 to put Miami up 10, showing no emotion whatsoever. Moments later, he got the ball on the left block, spun, pump-faked, and laced the leaner around 3 Celtic defenders for his 6th straight field goal. By the end of the first quarter, he had 14 points on 6 of 7 shooting, and with Miami up 10 heading into the second, LeBron kept the Heat on high. Pierce described the series as a good old-fashioned bar fight as James hit again. James was knocking down every shot, and he was unstoppable. A wet jumper in the paint made it 7 straight. A fadeaway over Pierce made it 8. A filthy left shoulder turnaround made it 9. Just a ridiculous leaning fade on the baseline made it 10 consecutive field goals made for LeBron, bringing him up to 22 points on the night. He was a machine, all of this without flinching at the fact that his entire legacy was on the line. His demeanor was one of a cold-blooded killer. With 3 minutes to go in the second, he had 27 points. LeBron dropped in from the rafters to punch a thunderous putback over 2 Celtics with his hand at the top square of the backboard. He wasn't done yet. With under a minute to go in the first half, he filled up the cup with a tough step back going right for points 29 and 30 of the first half. grilling the sideline with that blank expression on his face. Miami entered halftime with a 13-point lead. The only reason Boston was somewhat in this game wasn't because of Pierce, Garnett, or Allen. It was thanks to a young Rajon Rondo, who had 19 at the half. But that was nothing compared to what LeBron did. 35 points on a scorching 12 of 14 from the field. His efficiency wasn't solely off bully ball and easy buckets around the rim. This was coming off an array of difficult jumpers and a lead touch around the cup. LeBron's greatness was on full display, and after playing the entire